Welcome to episode 100. Yes, I said it, 100 triple digits of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Monday night, a late one here. I'll explain why in a second, but yep, it's exciting times, and I just want to thank everyone along this journey here, episode 100. Right, I couldn't do this without you, the listener. So again, I really appreciate everyone's support, over these past 100 episodes, and I look forward to what's in store for more, right? So just love to celebrate the milestones, right? But episode 100 on, right, the main series here, the Monday series, it just feels good, doesn't it? So wanted to highlight that, but we have to talk about some things here. We got to get right into sports because there's a lot of things that happened in the last, 24 hours, this past 72 hours. Honestly, the big one that took place, I haven't talked a lot of college basketball, I'll admit, right? But, when Marquette's ranked number 10 now, and the Milwaukee Panthers, yes, 16-8 now. They allow the Green Bay Phoenix to get their first win on the road, which we'll talk about more. I was at the game. So yeah, I got the Dalton Varsho bobblehead. That was exciting, but not a good one. We'll talk about that after the Eastern Wisconsin Conference, after we talk about some girls and boys basketball. And lastly, we got to talk about the red hot Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, they have done very well. Giannis again has put up monstrous numbers. I have my MVP rankings. They did come out, and I do have Giannis not at 2. I have my 3. Reason for that being is still he hasn't played a lot of games, so I'm waiting those games to get up. But come on, when he's been out in the court, I do admit that he has a good argument for not just 2, but number 1, right? I mean, how he's played, but we'll get moving here. We'll talk some high school basketball today. And we're going to start with girls basketball. We'll talk about what happened this past week. We'll talk about all the games that took place. And we'll start with the standings report. The Brilliant Lions, they are 11-0 still in conference, 16-4 now overall. We'll get to what happened Saturday against them and Freedom. Sorry about that. And then number 2 in conference, New Holstein, 8-3 in conference, 11-9 overall. Valdor's number 3, 6-5 in conference, 10-10 overall. Kiel, 6-5 in conference, 12-9 overall. Chilton, 5-6 in conference, 11-8 overall. Sheboygan Falls, 5-6 in conference, 12-8 overall. Roncalli, the Jets, 2-9 in conference, 4-16 overall. And Two Rivers, 1-10 in conference, 3-17 overall. For the stats, Allison Kakis leads the way, 21.9 points a game for her from Two Rivers. Grace Shizzle, 21 a game. Emma Yeoman, 16.2. Megan Schumann, 16.2 as well. Addison Schwely rounds it out, 16 a game. On the rebound side, Addison Schwely leads the way, 12 rebounds a game. Peyton Grenzer in second, 11.8. Allison Kakis rounds it out, 11.7. Allison Kakis then for assists leads the way, 4.4 assists. A new name here, Mackenzie Schrader in second, 4.2 assists. And then Olivia Shu in third, 4.2 as well. Sheboygan Falls is where Mackenzie Schrader is from, in case anyone was wondering. There you go. Okay, to talk about some of those games that took place this past week. We got to go to the games on Friday, right? We had some action in conference. And in that one, we saw, hold on, we got to go back to Thursday. My apologies, off on the schedule. There, we're where we need to be. So we had Thursday, February 2nd, where those games, it was New Holstein who beat Chilton 61-49. Kiel beat Two Rivers 65-36. And then Brilliant took care of Roncalli 69-48. And then a surprising one at Valdor's, Sheboygan Falls 75, Valdor's 60. So that's what happened there. I do got to get now to talking about the games on Saturday. I mentioned, right, we had Brilliant and Freedom, And Freedom gets the job done 44-34. It was a good one. 17 tied at half. And then Freedom, they came through at a big second half, 27-17. They win that. So 44-34 is your final. And what we saw was, some names from last year, right, for Freedom really take control of this game. So on the Brilliant side, though, I'll talk about that. McKenna Dietrich led the way with 10. Low-scoring game again, 44-34 was that. But we had Aubrey Williams with 8, Olivia Shu with 7 in this one. So, again, 44-34, your final. Not a great game for Brilliant right offensively is where you go right away. But, again, this Freedom team we talked about, they are tough, 19-1. This team averages 65 a game. They're 15-0 in the Northeastern Conference. And that Northeastern Conference, I do need to explain, is a very good one, right? I mean, like Fox Valley Lutheran's in that one. They're 14-1 in conference. Wrightstown's 10-5, right? Wrightstown for girls, you can never count out. Marinette's 10-5. It's a very good conference, very top heavy, very, a lot of talented teams in that. So no shame losing to a team of that talent. So we do have, though, Brilliant, their next game actually comes against Valders. That's tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip is what I'm seeing. So keep that in mind if you're going out to Valders for that one. Also, St. Mary Springs beat Two Rivers 77-31 last Saturday. We'll go back to Tuesday, tomorrow night's games. New Holstein and Kiel, Roncalli and Chilton, and then Two Rivers and Sheboygan Falls are your other conference games that are in action. We do have some Friday conference games as well. We have Chilton and Brilliant, Kiel and Roncalli, Sheboygan Falls, New Holstein, Valders, Two Rivers, and those are your games for Friday. So, the conference games this week, hopefully we get some good ones. I do want to point out, right, Sheboygan Falls just beat Valders by 15. They go to New Holstein on Friday. Could be a good one, right? You never know. So I think that one could be interesting. Like New Holstein Kiel is always an interesting one as well. Roncalli Chilton could be a good game. That's where I'd go with those. But Friday's games. Other than that, I think Sheboygan Falls, New Holstein's gonna be your best bet. Chilton Brilliant, maybe it's an interesting one. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the girls basketball talk here. We'll go to boys. But first, we got to thank the sponsor of today's episode. Right, you guessed it, Point Brewery. If you haven't seen, we thank them here for sponsoring the show. And here you go, the Point Brewery root beer, diet root beer, I should add. Right, it's made here right in Wisconsin at Stevens Point Brewery. It's handcrafted in small batches using the purest water, all natural vanilla and root beer flavors. And then, right, it's diet. It's got 0 sugar, 0 calories, and how I describe it, right? Rich, creamy, and fun. That's what you're getting with Point Brewery. So, again, their website, link down below. You can go check that out. And, again, want to thank them for sponsoring, right, today's episode. Love the root beer. They have a fantastic root beer. There's some vanilla in it. It's something you don't see a lot in root beers, but I think it's a nice touch, and I think it's what puts the root beer over the top. So, when I'm in Stevens Point, I'm drinking that. When I'm here in Milwaukee, I got some here. I keep it loaded, the 4-packs. Bring multiple in, carry them in. So go check them out. That link again is down below. Let's go talk some boys basketball. And are the Brilliant Lions still undefeated? Yes, they are. That's where we talk about 18-0, right? They have now passed last year's mark. I want to clarify that. I believe they were 17-0 last year. They lost to Valders in that 18th game. This time around, they took care of Valders, no problem. 20-point victory. Again, 18-0. Is what Brilliant is. But again, the Kiel Raiders, guess what? They have 18 wins as well. They're 18-2, 9-1 in conference. They're, I talk about every week, but what Kiel's done has been so underrated. So got to highlight that. Also, congrats to Grant Munns on becoming the school's all-time rebound leader. So that came out this past week. So congratulations to Grant Munns. Valders 7-3 in conference, 11-5 overall. Roncalli at number 4, as we predicted, right? They're 5-5 in conference, 7-12 overall. Chilton 3-7 in conference, 7-11 overall. And then Two Rivers 3-7 in conference, 7-11 overall as well. New Holstein 2-8 in conference, 3-17 overall. And Sheboygan Falls 1-9 in conference, 1-14 overall. For your stats, Jeremy Lawrence leads the way in scoring, 21.8 points a game for him. Pierce Arden's in second, 19.3. Cole Hovey, 18.8. Max Miller, 16.4. Brady Richards, 15.2. Rebounds per game, you guys said right. Kiel's new all-time leader, Grant Munns, 13 a game for him. Jeremy Lorenz, 11.9. Cole Hovey rounds it out, 8.6. The assists leader, Parker Brown, 6.4. Pierce Arns, 5 assists. Will Fuelbringer rounds it out, 4.6. In the games this past week, we had some conference action. We'll touch more on Fridays. I don't think there was a surprise. I thought, if you thought Valors might keep it close, I guess, I mean, that might have been the surprise, but Chilton takes care of New Holstein 77-68. Roncalli beats Sheboygan Falls 57-33. Two Rivers, or Kiel beats Two Rivers in this one 70-45. And then Brilliant Valors 61-41. Kiel then had a game already reported 69-45. They get the win over Waupun, so that's where they got that extra win there to go to 18-2. We do have some non-con tomorrow night. We have some good ones too, I should add. Sheboygan Falls goes to Wrightstown. Two Rivers goes to Sturgeon Bay. Roncalli goes to Little Chute. And then Freedom to Valders. Hopefully, we can see Valders make that one a good one. And then Brilliant goes to Wawega Fremont. So those are games Tuesday. Thursday, we have some conference action. So quick turnaround. And we have some good ones. We got, highlight, not to talk a lot about Valders here, but, Kiel and Valders is going to be, the game you got to go to, number 2 and 3 in conference squaring off. Again, it's at Valders. That's another point, key point. You got like Brilliant against Chilton at home on Thursday. New Holstein Sheboygan Falls. That's an underrated game as well. Both those schools. Again, I've talked about this. Regardless of record, they've played this year tough. They've put together some really competitive starts to game, some competitive minutes. Sheboygan Falls hung in with Brilliant first 10 minutes, let alone and even a little bit longer. They made that first half and round the whole look competitive. So I do think that 1-14 record for Sheboygan Falls misleading. I think that 3-17 also with New Holstein. I think they'll be a good game at Sheboygan Falls Thursday night. Roncalli Two Rivers also going to be a good one. I believe Two Rivers wins that first matchup, so interesting to see. Hopefully, we'll see what Roncalli can do if they can split that series. Saturday we got an interesting game. We have some multiple ones. We got Waupun going to Sheboygan Falls on 7:00 on a Saturday. Then we have Destiny going to Valders at 6:00 on a Saturday. So there you go. Some interesting non-con games thrown in there. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but if you want a game, next Tuesday, we got Brilliant and Kiel. That's going to be talk about a good one. That's at Kiel. So just want to highlight that right now. Next Tuesday, pencil in the calendar. You're going to Kiel. If you like high school basketball in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference, you got to go to Kiel. It's as simple as that. You see an 18-2 and 18-0 overall, team square off, both of them there, and I think that's going to be a good one. So that's going to wrap it up here for the high school basketball talk. And if you want to find where I'm getting all this information, right, you got to go to wisports.net. That link is down below. Sorry, struggling with talking right now. If you haven't noticed, I mentioned I was at that basketball game. There you go. So we'll go to college and then we'll go professional. So I'll get it out of the way. For those who don't know, as I mentioned, Green Bay Phoenix pull off. Pages were describing this as a pretty big upset, right? Which it was, I believe. The spread was minus 17 Milwaukee. So, Milwaukee was, again, 17-point favorites in this one. They lose by 1. big night. This was the game that many were advertising. Pack the Panther Arena. They were free bobblehead, billboards were up, all that, and for this, yes, a 70-89 loss that might. Why do I need to say might? It's the worst loss of the year. They play IUPUI in a close one, but this one inexcusable. Again, Green Bay was making shots that you would have looked at and you've been like, this team's 2 wins. They were 2-22 at the time, 0-14 on the road. Yeah, they made shots that at the end of the day you just tipped the hat to, right? This was impressive. What we saw, I got win probability for you. 97.8% was the start of the game for Milwaukee. So, yeah. They had multiple times throughout the game, 90+%. It was impressive what Green Bay was able to do. Like the win probability. Again, if you want to check out what ESPN's got, it's a majority of it, like 99% of the game, maybe like 95% of the game has Milwaukee projected to win. But it's an interesting game because I could read the stats and team stats, but I just want to go through this. I think this is always a good way to look at some of these games. You see total turnovers. You see Milwaukee loses that battle by 3. But then you see rebounds. Milwaukee wins 51-36. They win the battle by 15 rebounds. They have a better field goal percentage than Green Bay, 40.8 to 39.84. Difference in this one was Green Bay shot 38.1% from 3 compared to Milwaukee's 29. When you have that kind of discrepancy, and with the volume that Green Bay had, the Green Bay made the most threes they made all year, the most points they've scored all year. I don't even have to look what Green Bay's high in threes was before this. I just know it was, right? 16 threes for a team that has struggled to score this year in Green Bay. Come on. We know that's the case. And they would shoot. They took 42 threes compared to Milwaukee's 31, the Panthers. It was, there were some frustrating moments for Milwaukee, right? There's a technical foul, a 2-shot one that Green Bay took advantage of, right? If you look at the final score, can't throw it on one play, but they certainly made the most of their opportunities that Green Bay got, extra chances they got. And they, at the end of the game, like to force overtime, insane shot. I don't know what the percent on that shot was, shot probability. That second shot to take the 1-point lead, I don't know the probability. It's got to be low. They weren't good shots, but at the same time, it's the end of the game. They're not going to be good shots, right? It's potentially, you got to just force it up. So that's what we saw, and we saw Green Bay shoot the best they've shot all year. And I've seen some Green Bay games, so and you could just see that this was a team that was. They weren't playing like a 2-22 team. This was a team playing like they had someone to play for. I think that's a credit to the interim coach, right, with Green Bay, because you're not going to see a team that 3-22, depleted, right, long season, have struggled to make games competitive, right. Their most competitive game before this, you can go to the IUPUI one, but they still lost by 15. If I want to go to a competitive game, the last time it was a 10-point game, right? They lost to Purdue Fort Wayne by 10. Like middle of the year, they lost to Oregon State only by 9. But then we almost have to go back to when they played Wisconsin. Yes, Wisconsin. They played them. They lost them only by 11. They did beat Kansas City by 6 and IUPUI by 7. But other than those 2 wins, it's wow. That's all you can say. It was, I don't know where to go from there. Right, being a Milwaukee Panther fan going to the game, right? It was a long one. Getting back, that's why the episode tonight so late. I can talk about some of the bright spots. BJ Freeman, although he shot 9 for 23, he put together a nice game. 28 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I thought he played good tonight. Markeith Browning, 7 for 15, 15 points, 12 boards. Had a good game. Amon Rand got in foul trouble, which that was certainly a big difference for Milwaukee. He only played 15 minutes because of that foul trouble. 3 points. 5 boards ended up falling out. I think things like that is where I go. I do want to talk about Zach Howell played 11 minutes. That was something, people, maybe not people, but like some thought was a lot. And Howell, and he's worked his way into the rotation. Um, he's kind of taken Angelo Stewart's spot. Stewart only playing 5 minutes tonight. Justin Thomas playing a quiet 26 minutes, no points in 26, but he certainly made a very good impact on this game. Just, maybe not the game. Surprised to read he played 26 minutes. But yeah, I mean this Milwaukee team, you might ask what's next, right? You lose. This is gonna be a tough loss to come back from. Certainly will be, but you play from the home crowd Thursday. You play from the home crowd Saturday. You got a lot of games coming up. They jam them in at the end. So, if you want to keep competing, right, got to go for that. I do think the game plan, right, the Horizon League tournament, you got to win to get in. So, the more games you win here, the better position you're put in, to host those home games, right, to have better chance to get in that tournament. So, my response is you just got to move on from here. No looking back on a game like this as much as you want to, as much as you want to point to, that missed layup was 2 points. That would have won the game, or that free throw miss was, the difference. Can't do that. It's a game of runs, a game where many factors decided, and you just got to move on. So that's the Milwaukee Panthers talk. Again, the voice is losing it from that game, but gotta move on. We'll talk now Milwaukee Bucks. So with the Milwaukee Bucks, right, they're playing right now West Coast trip. They're playing Portland around that 7-game win streak. So right now we're looking at it, and yeah, it's been a good run for the Milwaukee Bucks. But again, this West Coast trip, you might hear me like, they're winning the game right now, aren't they? They are, but I'm trying to get the live score right now up, but the schedule, it's tough. You have that back-to-back after this one, and that you might get those 3 days off, which is totally nice. But Thursday, Friday, Lakers and Clippers, back-to-back 9 and 9:30, 9:30 p.m. on a Friday. That's here, so it's really 7:30 there. So not really excited about that. Staying up late for the Bucks games, but as of this recording right now, let's see what's going on in this Bucks Trailblazers game. I can't get it up right now. Oh well, when you probably listen to this, the game's over. Hopefully the Bucks get the job done, extend that win streak, and then we got Lakers Thursday on TNT 9:00, Clippers Friday 9:30. My Bucks prediction challenge has them winning tonight, and then, by the way, that Lakers game tickets are as low as $512, but then at the same place. Keep in mind that game's not a Thursday night, but then Friday night, 9:30 again, same place, Staples Center, but it's the Clippers. Tickets as low as $31. So you get a nice, what was that, $481 difference. Well, blows my mind, but the same place, but that huge difference for tickets is what you'll get. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, we have some good ones. Back-to-back games on TNT Tuesday and Thursday next week. Boston and Chicago. So 4 straight primetime games for the Bucks coming up next week and the following. But yeah, this West Coast trip gonna be a tough one. Bucks get the job hopefully done tonight against Portland, and then get some good days of practice in Tuesday, Wednesday, then Lakers and Clippers Thursday, Friday. I got that right. Thursday, Friday, but I mentioned the Giannis talk about my MVP rankings coming out and the thoughts behind why Giannis might not be as high as people want. And again, the reason being is the games played this year hasn't been It hasn't been a lot this year. He's played 42 games only this year. So out of the 53, which might not seem horrible, but that's a good chunk of games. He's played roughly like 80% of the games, which is a good enough number, for awards. And I still am moving him up the ladder, right? I'm not moving him down by any means. I do think efficiency numbers, though, I mean, he's still 54% from the field this season, 27 from three, 64% from the line. So that's down even for his career averages being at 71. So I still care about efficiency. Team success is there for Giannis. So, all right, he's got the stuff. I do think 2A, 2B right now is where I have him with Tatum, Giannis. And it's not just the fact Tatum has the record advantage, which does help his case, but the fact that Tatum's been, out for his team for more, or he's been on the court more games, he's played more minutes this year. I think that's another crucial thing. But they're really neck and neck right now, and what Denver's done, I still can't put him over Jokic yet. I think there's a chance. Over time. So that's like the award talk for Giannis. Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's still a top defender, but like for DPOY, that being Defensive Player of the Year, I think right now Brook Lopez has the nod over him. As terms for the Bucks. Of course, I'm taking overall defenders. I'll go Giannis any day, but I think Brook Lopez put him he's got to be a finalist right now with what he's done. He's been the interior anchor for this team, and I think that's something that's really underrated. What's been cool, though, has been Chris Middleton coming back. It's been exciting, right? He's slowly working back in. 24 points last game in 20 minutes. We see the minutes slowly creep up. They go 15, 15, 15, 18, and now we see 20, 20, 20. I'm excited. So we're going to keep those moving up. 24 points again in that one, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in 20 minutes. We're just looking for the 3-pointers to come up. I've noticed, watching too, I feel like the shot selection, like he's got to just get in that groove, right? Make those shots that, he knows are his shots. Sometimes I felt like he's taking shots, like those aren't his shots. Those aren't the ones, we've seen him have, like the bread and butter middies, the fadeaways, right? That we've seen in years past, but having Middleton back, again, I use this cliche maybe too much, but it's like that trade deadline. That guy who you didn't have to trade for, you get him back. You get him back near the trade deadline, around where you want him, right? He's around 20, hopefully creeping soon up to 25 minutes. This is what we wanted, and that's what we got with Giannis, or not Giannis, but with Chris Middleton. So I love to see that, and I love where this Milwaukee Bucks team is heading. You'll see where they are power rankings. Spoiler, they are my team of the week. You'll see that out tomorrow. But that's going to wrap it up with episode stuff here. Announcements, right? Tomorrow, episode Journey to Million, that time has moved now, right? 4:15 to 5:15 p.m. Central Time, live here on YouTube and Twitch is where you'll find that. And then also, right, you'll find the basketball crew out later this week, thinking Thursday or Friday this week. I'll bring you, right, that winning lineup on Fantasia Sports. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, on episode 100 of Drew's Sports Crew. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.